What is up, guys? I am finally back with a new track review. I'm actually going to be reviewing two new tracks from one of my favorite bands, Wage War. Before I get into that, I apologize for the lighting. It's like 95 degrees out where I live, and it has been like that for a while, so a couple of the windows behind me are a little bit open, just so I can get a bit of a breeze behind me. The AC that I have on is not doing the trick completely, so I'm just trying to cool down the house. It's freaking hot. But anyway, the two tracks Wage War released, the first one was Prison, and the second is Me Against Myself. I listened to both of them about 3 or so times before making my opinion, forming it, and putting it into review form, because I like to do that. I like to take in everything the song has, or songs in this case. And yeah, I really liked Prison. I'll talk about that first because it's shorter. And Me Against Myself, I don't know if you'll necessarily agree with my opinion on the track, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You could say it's absolute trash. You could say you love it. That's your opinion. You can't really say someone's wrong for having an opinion. And I can already smell the hate comments, just like that time I did that Bad Wolves review that's now infamous. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that didn't go well. And I'm not talking about their new song. I'm talking about Officer Down. If you've been sub to my channel or you've seen that, you know I'm not a big Bad Wolves fan, so we'll get to that at a different point. But Prison is the first of the two tracks that I listened to. It's about 2 minutes 45 seconds or so it's under 3 minutes. It's relatively short, and it's really your run-of-the-mill essential Wage War track. You got a great mix of clean vocals and then harsh vocals as well. The harsh vocals coming in on the breakdown and then on the second verse and the end of the song. If I were to compare it to any other song the band has put out, I'd say it's like Southbound, where there's cleans on the chorus and then one of the verses and there's a breakdown is heavy, and the ending of the song and the opening riff as well. I'd say Who I Am and this track are probably the two heaviest of the four. Who I Am, I think, definitely is, in terms of having the most harsh vocals, the heaviest. But I like this song better, and I think that's because the chorus is super catchy, and the riff is a lot better than Who I Am. It's slightly similar. Most of Wage War's riffs are relatively the same, but this one just stands out to me out of the four songs as my favorite. Low had the same riff as another song. I can't remember the song. I'm trying to think. You can let me know in the comments. I know the song. It's not clicking. And then the other song they released it doesn't really have really a standout riff because it's kind of a not ballad but a slower style track for them. But I really liked Prison. I'd highly recommend it if you're a fan of the band's stuff on Deadweight. You definitely like it. This could definitely fit in on Deadweight. I almost could consider it a B-side in terms of sound. It could definitely blend in with that album. I hope the album sounds a lot like this song. I think this song is what I expected from them from the start, and I'm glad that they still have that sound that they're known for. They're one of the few metalcore bands where I really don't have anything bad to say about their style, because I think it's pretty consistent. And this song follows that. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I almost wish it was a little bit longer, and maybe there was the first verse had a mix of cleans and harsh vocals, but the chorus is so strong and catchy and has both intertwined in it that I think it's strong. Me Against Myself is the second of the two tracks Wage War put out, and I have to say it didn't really resonate with me. I'm not sure if it was the lyrics just being kind of shallow, to be brutally honest, or the riff not really standing out, or there being a lack of harsh vocals in the track. It just didn't hit me. I know, I'm sure it hit some people in terms of the lyrics being relatable and things like that. I definitely would consider any tough times lyrics relatable, at least in some way, but this song to me just doesn't work as a Wage War track. I think it would be a good track if it was by any other artist, but I think because it's so different from anything else Wage War has ever done, really. I mean, let's be real here. It's way different. I'm not sure how I like it. It really gives me vibes of like a 2015 era Bring Me the Horizon, and I'm not sure if I want Wage War to go in that direction. Bring Me the Horizon is a band that I honestly think has a horrible track record, and I think has been overrated to absolute shit. They have one good album, Sempiternal. That's definitely an essential metalcore album. But other than that, they suck. And I really don't want Wage War to follow suit and have Deadweight. Well, technically they have two good albums because Blueprint's great too. Blueprint, Deadweight, and I don't want them to go in a completely different direction is what I'm saying. I know I'm sounding like one of those people that just bitches about artists changing their sound and they need to stay constantly heavy and they're turning slightly pop. I don't think this is a pop track at all. I'm not going to say that because it's not a pop track. It's still a rock track. But if you like this Wage War for what they are, a band that's mostly heavy most of the time, this just doesn't work. I like the vocals on it. I think they're very well executed and delivered. That's probably the highlight of the song for me and the strong point of the song. But when it comes to everything else, it feels like it could have been made by any other artist. It doesn't feel like Wage War to me. And I think that's just why I don't care for it. I'm not saying it's terrible, but I'm not saying it's great either. I know people are going to just immediately say, you're wrong, which, dumbass, you can't be wrong for having an opinion. I'm sorry, it's true. But you're all entitled to your own opinion. That's just my opinion. Again, I've liked two of the four songs so far, Who I Am and Prison. So yeah, I still like half the stuff they've put out. For me, an album I consider good if more than half or half is good. So even if half of their new album is good, I'll still pretty much give it a good review. It just needs to have more than half of it or half of it exactly be good. I don't want it to be like I Prevail where there's like 4 or 5 good tracks and the rest of the album is pretty meh or bad. I just don't want a repeat of that because I was so excited for Trauma. And I gave it a decent review. I think I gave it a 6.5. But I was expecting something completely different than what we got because Bow Down, Breaking Down, and Paranoid were so different. Paranoid and Breaking Down were a little lighter, but they were still rock, and they felt like I Prevail. But they decided to go in a weird direction. Tracks like DOA just felt like bad Hollywood Undead songs. And I love Hollywood Undead, but you know, like Hollywood Undead's like filler tracks when you hear them, right? Like there's stupid songs like that just literally have no point, where they just talk about their penises getting hard and stupid shit like that. That's what half the songs on I Prevail's album felt like. DOA and Gasoline. I don't want Wage War to turn into that, where their heavy tracks feel gimmicky. Gasoline was the heaviest track on I Prevail's album, and it felt like a fucking joke. It felt like a gimmick. It really did. It was just like a stupid song they made in the studio in one take. They just said, here, scream into a mic for a couple minutes, add a riff to it, call it a day. Stitch doesn't feel like that. The River doesn't feel like that. Wage War always has one super hard-hitting, harsh-only track. I want that on this album, and I'm really hoping and praying they do execute and do that, because I don't know how I'm going to like the album if that's not the case. Part of the reason I got into Wage War in the first place was from hearing Stitch. That song kicked absolute ass. You can't deny that. So my biggest concern for the album is if the songs are going to sound like this, I'm not sure if I'm going to give it a good review or even return to it. I just really want at least one song with only harsh vocals. Deadweight had 3, which I think was honestly a good amount, and most of the other songs had harsh, so it was fine. And the 3 that did have harsh only vocals were absolute kick-ass. Deadweight, Disdain. I feel like there was a couple others that were harsh only, but no, because Indestructible didn't had good cleans. Don't Let Me Fade Away had cleans. Never, Southbound had some cleans. Yeah, really thinking about it, but yeah, I don't want them to go that direction. Yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. This is kind of just me kind of giving a spiel now, but I hope you know what I mean, where like an artist is like Wage War has already established themselves with 2 albums. I think it'd be foolish to change their sound. It's not like they've been around for 10 years like Linkin Park, and they could say, all right, let's change things up. just stay the same. Like, everyone loves Wage War for their sound. Just stay the same. That's really all I got. If you like this video, please like it. Subscribe. I plan on doing a review. A couple reviews this month, actually. I'm going to do a review of Slipknot's upcoming album, We Are Not Your Kind, next Friday. And I'm doing a review of Wage War's album on the 30th. I'll be in school at that point, so the camera setup will be better. The audio will be better. I'll have a nice new setup. Probably like a dorm setup of some sort. I don't know. I'll figure things out. But yeah, we'll get it done. We'll get that Fortnite Victory Royale, per se. In terms of the Skillet album, I know some people that are subbed to my channel are subbed because of Skillet content, whether one of my music video edits I did for them, or my review of the Fight the Fury EP, or the Ledger EP, or even some of the old reviews I did of like Awake and Collide and stuff, or also the concert videos I did and talking about when I got to go on stage or backstage for that show. And the Legendary review. I am not going to be reviewing Skillet's new album. I made that official. I think Skillet is a band where people really hate them for no reason and really stan them very hard. And I fall in the middle. I don't hate them, but I'm not like a massive fan. But I love their music, and I think they're great people. So, if you want my opinion just real quick on the tracks, I've really liked the songs they've put out so far. I think they're kind of fresh, kind of new. I think Save Me is probably my favorite of the bunch, but You Ain't Ready is also a pretty decent track. It's pretty much, if you want my thoughts on the album before it comes out, because this is my prediction, it's basically going to be Unleashed without synth. That's all I got. See you later.